The Once Human demo is officially available, and if you wishlisted the game, you definitely get to try it out. So these are just my insights in terms of the demo. So is Once Human actually a good game to play? This is a very unique game, and it requires patience and the understanding of these types of games, right? You're looking into crafting, survival, and you're looking to post-apocalyptic type. So if you're somebody like me who loves post-apocalyptic type games, zombies, etc., just all forms of survival, this definitely can get you very immersed into the situation. Now for me, even in a demo situation, it does take a lot to get your bindings going, especially if you're playing on PC. Make sure you have everything set up. The beginning can kind of really, they do hold your hand to really get you started in this game, which is huge for these games, right? Because when you're crafting, building, trying to get everything going in terms of items, survival, especially things like hunger and all, and there's just so much depth to this game that it can be daunting for people. So make no mistake, this is not just some game you could step into and just automatically like ready to go, like hack and slash and stuff like that, or any type of like quick FPS arena shooter games. Once Human is very unique in my opinion. Through the time I have played through the demo, I'm going to keep playing the demo for the rest of the week also, but these are just like first impressions. I think that this is something that will be an underrated gem. Again, this game is coming out next month, which I do want to do a final insight depending on what games I'm actually working on and what projects and content I'm working on. But when you go to the overall generalization of it and the overall outlook, the experience is fun. It is solid. It does take a lot to learn, but it is something that is like it's a slow burner game. So you have to, it's a marathon type game. They look like they're in it for the long haul, right? If you like DayZ and maybe State of Decay, these are great options, right? They do have a PvE, PvP option. And these are two games, in my opinion, that come to mind if you're really like that. Now, I wouldn't really say Days Gone, but definitely DayZ and State of Decay would be my most probably relatable games to what I'm playing right now in Once Human. Now, I would say it comes off more as the PG-13 version of these games, though. I would say that they opted out of too much mature type gore to give you more of an all-around pleasant experience, kind of like a Lost Planet. It's a little bit slower than that. It could kind of remind me of that game too. If you're a fan of the Lost Planet series, that's OG, I know. But if you do some of that, if you play some of those games, you'll kind of have somewhat of a insight on that. So it's like Lost Planet with crafting, or State of Decay with a little bit more nuance on crafting rather than just hordes all day or recruiting. You know what I mean? It is great fun. They have bosses in here, like bigger enemies. I think that is fun. Also, that does help out. The crafting, I feel, can be daunting when you look at it, but this crafting is far more simplified, and you can set your settings to make it a lot more simplified. And I think the customization is what really I adore about this game. I feel that even like from auto mantling, like all that stuff, if sprinting and switching guns, or if you're running out of bullets, like to switch your weapon, get into melee mode, like you can do so much to customize the game to your personal experience. If you want the game to do more things for you, then you can just set it to that. So you can focus more of your energy on learning the crafting, learning all the variances on how you unlock stuff and how you loot, I guess, quote unquote. And just how you go hunting and how you would create stuff like that. There is a lot. For a demo, it actually really went in depth too. I believe the demo is a week-long play. So this demo, it's only day one for me, and I'm already like, wow. The expansion of the map, it does, again, it's a demo, so it's not perfect. It wasn't running the best performance, especially even when I was tweaking down the settings a little bit more. But it was still fun. It was still a great time. I would definitely say, just because I'm someone who likes these type of games, this is a great game for me to transition while I'm waiting for games, or while I'm hyped for State of Decay 3. In terms of a primary game, I'm not too sure how much I'm going to keep playing it this week. I'm not too sure how much I'll keep it on a primary format. I don't even think you can play on controller in this game either. I'm not too sure yet. Yeah, maybe y'all can let me know about that. But in terms of just having it on rotation and a game that I could possibly always come back to, I'm so down for Once Human. Or it could be primary for a while until I get another post-apocalyptic type game, especially with Souls games becoming a lot more popular now. Progression type games are always going to be, or Souls-like games, Souls-born games. these are always going to be on the front lines, at least currently. And I feel is more of the new, I would say is one of the, I wouldn't say new era just yet, but it's definitely a new trend to try to get these types of gameplays going. Rather it's, you know, mixing Souls-like along with some gameplay, or just rather how you have these multitudes of bosses, kind of like how every RPG usually is and has been, but not necessarily a hack and slash game. The speed is just enough. You can have your stamina. You do get hungry in this game. It is full on survival in this game. So again, like what I said, if you like DayZ, if you like games like State of Decay, crafting and really building what you have to offer, right? And we all know, like, from the back then trends of actual crafting and everything from Minecraft itself all the way into games like this that are getting better and better over time on how to integrate these. Now, I felt this was a trend moving forward, but I think survival and crafting games are still figuring things out to really adhere to audiences, to bring it to a whole nother level. But I think once Human really does solid in terms of the outlook of the game, it is something that's not uninviting, but it can be daunting at first. It could, but all it is that you just gotta, you know, work on the expertise, get your skills up. A lot of repetition in this game, and just building a workflow in this game is all that it really takes. And so I really enjoyed that part. The progression is fairly easy. It'll tell you when you level up. You just kind of, just like every other progression type game. I feel that that's cool. So not only do you got RPG essences, you get your survival essences, then you get your crafting, then you get your pretty solid melee. I like the melee. It seems very repetitive, the pattern, but it is something that it's a demo at the end of the day. But I think that this is most likely what they're probably going to be pushing forward anyways in terms of melee and combat variations. It feels really good just shooting the crossbow in this game, or when you're hunting for animals so you can build other stuff, like whether it's clothing, etc. I think that that type of essence is pretty cool. The just, you know, when you're trying to get like logs and stone and gravel, I feel that it's very simple. That was a lot easier than what I would think. I would think Minecraft's a little bit more complicated than this when it comes to actual crafting and survival, because it's just a simple buttons. You go into your menu. Now the menu and the UI is kind of, I wouldn't say clunky, but it is very confusing to where you will have to really study in on it and understand your navigation. Especially if you're doing missions and stuff, you got to like exit out, read the mission, know exactly what you're doing, know what you need to craft, know where you need to go. And so memorize all that so you don't have to be bouncing around back and forth. Especially if you're going to be streaming this game, you want to try to give as much insight to your viewers as you can. I think that it is very cool. The UI was a little, I'd say that's the most complex thing about this game. I think when you're in the action of doing everything in Once Human, it is so fun, from battling and all that. The melee, again, a little repetitive, but the UI was a little bit complex for me at first, at least. I don't play too much survival games, but like what I said, it reminded me of DayZ / State of Decay, where it wasn't too heavily into it, but it gave us that post-apocalyptic feel. There is like a zombie-esque, but there's not a lot of gore in this game, so it's cool. A lot of variants of enemies. It kind of seems like it was just random the way they did that. I would say also the RPG element, which is your, you know, being able to choose your outcome, what you want to ask, what questions. I wish we had a voice actor on our character, but for right now we don't. But I think the voice actors do pretty good. It's pretty believable, at least in my opinion. Other than that, it's solid. It might be an underrated gem. It might be a good game to have on rotation. I'm not too sure as a primary. I want to keep playing it this week, and I would say I don't have a full number rating for it, but it is solid. It is very good. Aside from a couple of bugs and the UI being too complex and it just looking daunting when you jump into this game, it actually is a good game once you get the flow going. But you have to understand everything about survival games and crafting games. Those two right there already can turn people off, because the realism and the immersion of those games, it really means that you're in it for a long haul experience and a marathon experience, and putting a lot of hours. RPGs already take a long time. Souls-like games take a long time. Survival games take a long time. Crafting type games take a long time, where you're building a base. You're doing everything one by one, small by small, building. And then on top of that, you have a full open world-esque game, which it felt very open world in this demo. and that all those put together can cause for a long time of gaming. So before you step into Once Human, just know that you have to put time into this game, a whole lot of time. If you're somebody like me who works, who doesn't have a massive dramatic schedule when it comes just to pure gaming, you might have to think twice about it to see if it's worth investing your time. Do your research, keep thinking about what you want to do, but I feel it is solid if you have the time to put into it, for sure, man. Y'all let me know what's up. I appreciate y'all. Once Human did a good job though, man. I appreciate the time and being able to play this early. Peace.